How's it, guys? This is Dayvy FPL and welcome back to the deadline stream for this game week, game week 4. Thankfully, football is back. We've had a nice little break of an international kind of qualifiers. There's been a lot of drama around that. We'll kind of clarify that FIFA ban drama in a little bit. But in terms of the hype, everything about Game Week 4 is going to revolve around CR7 himself, Mr. Cristiano Ronaldo. Are we going to bring him in? Are we not? Still have to make those transfers. Just a little bit of a disclosure. I'm probably going to wait as close to the deadline as possible. We'll give you guys about 10 minutes to do the transfers. I'm not going to leave it to like the last minute or something like that. I just want to get as much news as possible. I think there might still be news about potential Firmino injury news, Jota starting, Tsimikas maybe starting, and probably the biggest news of all is if Ronaldo is going to be starting. Because if Ronaldo starts, it's a no-brainer for me. He's coming straight into the lineup, going to captain him as well. But if he is on the bench, I think it's going to spice things up quite a bit. So throughout this video, I'm going to be, or live stream, sorry, answering your guys' questions to the best of my knowledge with what news we have right now. And then, as I said, a little bit later in the stream, I'll be locking in those transfers. If you guys do have to go anywhere, I do apologize, but I think you can understand that to make the most informed decision that I can in terms of FPL, I need as much news as possible. So thanks for joining me on a usual Saturday morning, night, afternoon, wherever you are around the world. I know that I always get kind of Twitter comments, Twitter DMs about some people saying that they up at like 5 in the morning to watch the stream or something. So I do always appreciate you guys' support. And thanks once again for the support through the international break on all my videos. But now let's get on to the actual comments, the actual chat. Let's see what you guys are saying and what your guys' plans are. Before we do that, actually, let me just do a quick review of Game Week 3. I know it's been forever since we talked about Game Week 3, but we did get 72 points. I'm relatively happy with that, and that sees us just below the 90k mark. So if you guys want to know the rank, it's 90k or around about there. Probably 88k is a better representation. But to be honest, I think it's a good place. I don't think it's necessarily excellent, but I always say it's better than what we had last season. So I'm always going to be taking that. In terms of kind of concerns that I do have, I will 100% be taking out Buendia and Danny Ings today. Whether that be for Ronaldo is going to be yet to be seen. I will obviously have to take Bruno out for the money because I don't have enough money to afford Ronaldo by simply just downgrading Buendia. The main option I do want is Diego Jota because I think Firmino is going to be out for quite a number of weeks. Even if it's just 2 game weeks, I mean, they've got Leeds away this week and then Crystal Palace at home next week. So, I mean, those are 2 great fixtures anyway. So Jota's my main concern, but as you guys can see on screen, I already have a triple up on Liverpool. So I'll have to take another hit there to take out Tsimikas, which is a little bit annoying. I was kind of weighing up whether it was actually better starting with Jota or starting with Tsimikas at the start of the season. I don't know yet. I think it's going to depend on how well Jota does. Will Tsimikas start against Leeds? I personally don't think so. I've seen a lot of predicted lineups from journalists. I think it was kind of just a shot in the dark. There is a potential that he starts, but I think there's probably about an 80% chance that Robo starts instead. So those are kind of my concerns, and that's why if you guys did watch the team selection video, the biggest moves were kind of, it was either taking a -4 hit or taking a -8. And I think it's leaning towards the -8 at this point. I know it's a lot of transfers, but we'll talk about them a little bit later on. Todd, please do transfers. I'm at work, need to know. So unfortunately, Todd, just take your break later rather than now. Go back to work, Todd. I'm going to report you to your boss because you're watching my stream during work. But just wait a little bit. Maybe, as I said, try work harder now and then come back in about 30 minutes or so. Victor saying, I love South Africa. Thank you, Victor, whatever country you're from. I'm pretty sure it's the same. I'm pretty sure I love your country as well there. Tyler Scott saying, hi, Davey. Mad to think Bruno Fernandes has been transferred out by 1 million managers. Absolute scenes. So, Tyler, I think a lot of people generally have this consensus as well. And I've mentioned this in the team selection, but for me, it's more of not wanting Bruno than wanting Ronaldo. Because if Ronaldo's on the pitch, I know there has been this talk about splitting penalties. I don't think there will be split penalties. I think there might be once in a while, but definitely if they get a penalty today, Ronaldo will take it. I think that everyone can kind of agree on that. Even if it's Bruno's turn to take it, I think he'll give it to Ronaldo to get off the bat at Old Trafford. And I mean, we're only going to probably have Ronaldo for 3 game weeks anyway. So I don't know how many penalties they'll get in 3 game weeks, but it's a nice gateway to kind of go to Lukaku. And that's why I think so many people are keen to do it because in 3 game weeks time, we're going to get Lukaku in anyway. I was going to take Bruno out in 3 game weeks anyways for Lukaku. So now I'm just doing it kind of earlier on. Really going to captain Ronaldo over Salah against Leeds. So maybe just because I support Liverpool, but I think that Leeds game is going to be very tough. I don't know. I just have a feeling that it's going to be quite a close one. The only thing that'll make it not close is if Liverpool score early on. Because Leeds are home, so they're going to want to counter-attack a lot. They're going to want to be a little bit more attacking-wise. So if Liverpool score early on, it's going to be a completely open game. And I think that that's when Leeds could concede a few. And I don't know. I've said that Salah's an underrated captain, but for my own team, I was always thinking about Bruno Fernandes as captain in Game Week 4 anyways. Shaw vs Digne, choose one for the next 3. So I still am a fan of Luke Shaw for the next 3, and then shift him to a Chelsea option. So if you guys are on a wild card, that's what I would probably suggest. I would probably suggest kind of going for Luke Shaw right now, and then maybe you can bring another option in later on. But if you want to go for Luca Digne, I mean, I would probably include him in a defensive 3. I would probably go Trent, Shaw, and then Luca Digne, because then you have an easy kind of versatile defense to shift out. Because Game Week 7 onwards, you're going to want a Chelsea defender. Rangding saying, get Sanchez or Schmeichel or Pickford. Don't mind having a bit more expensive goalkeeper if it means better stats. So I'm a big fan, Rangding, of going for 4.5 goalkeeper. So I would probably just suggest Sanchez anyway. But thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate it. Optimus Prime saying, I will check for Twitter news, but I'm 99.99% sure he will start versus Newcastle. So I do think as well. I think he was always going to play. Like, let's be honest, it's not like this guy's been out since preseason. He played 60 minutes for Juventus against Atalanta in the Serie A at the start of this season. So he's had match fitness. He's played internationals. He's been training. I mean, why wouldn't he start, if you know what I'm saying? And I personally don't think Oli has the whatevers to bench Ronaldo on his debut against Newcastle at home. That's just what I think. Zaid saying, Dayvy, check your Twitter DMs for Ronaldo's starting news. So Zaid, I will check them now. I just want to catch up with chat a little bit, but I will check them now. Appreciate it, buddy. Dayvy, Jimenez or DCL? I think, Dan, if you can afford both. I always don't like when there's comparisons between people that are different prices or players that are different prices. But in this case, they are quite similar, but I think it's quite a big difference in price between them. But I think you have to go with DCL. I think he will play today against Burnley, and I think the next 3 for Everton look really good for him. So I would personally go with DCL. I think Raul Jimenez is a wait and see. I just want to see a little bit more from maybe him to show that he's managed to come back from that injury well enough. Saying that, I'm probably going to bring in Traore this week anyway. So I mean, what do I know about kind of waiting and seeing? Thoughts on Ferran Torres. So Torres is an interesting one because at the start of the international break, kind of everyone was going for him, and now we've seen this complete reduction in like players that kind of FPL managers that kind of want him. So it's a little bit of a weird one, but I don't know. I think that my perspective kind of follows the general consensus. I think that I really liked him at the start, but now that he's played all these internationals and we have Foden and Kevin De Bruyne back in training, I think that I've slightly been swayed away from him. But I do think, I mean, if the fixtures were good, I probably would bring him in anyways, but the City fixtures are a bit weird. Optimus Prime saying, please make like and subscribe. So that's always appreciated, but you don't have to if you don't want to. And then he said that he'll be, I'm sure in the end, we'll be streaming the cap. So I do think so as well. That was my initial plan, and I usually stick to that. Any opinions on Kevin De Bruyne? So Kevin De Bruyne is a wait and see for me. Sorry, I just wanted to check something on my PC right now. So Kevin De Bruyne is a wait and see for me. As far as I know, he only came back to training recently. I don't know if that changed the camera, but I think I didn't adjust my camera settings. So I do apologize for that. Hopefully I'm looking a little bit crispier, maybe a little bit more tanned. That's probably the most important thing. But in terms to go back to your question about Kevin De Bruyne, I think he only returned to training this week, so I would wait and see on him. The only time I would have 100% gone for it is that if we did have better fixtures for Man City. But right now, I don't see the value in kind of putting 12 million or whatever Kevin De Bruyne comes in at into him at this stage of the season. I think when we've got a Ronaldo coming in, we got a Lukaku in the near future, I think I'd rather stick with those assets. Olive saying, I love your stream, mate. I love your inputs and opinions. Thank you. So Olive, no question there. Just a nice little compliments. I do always appreciate those. Thanks. Aiden Lewis saying, crispy boy. Hopefully, I think this webcam does a good job of keeping up with the quality, but maybe if I get bigger, maybe I'll have to upgrade the camera. Still with Mahrez, keep or sell this game week. Lynn, this is a tough one. I guess I would have said 100% keep if Jesus wasn't going to start. But now, okay, so now I can give you guys the update. I do apologize for that one. I didn't say this, but all the South American players have been cleared to play this week. So Rafinha, Edison, Alisson, Jesus, all those players will be fine to feature. So you don't have to worry about him. So with Jesus, I guess that makes your decision a little bit harder there, Lynn. It depends who you're going to bring in. If it's going to be to fund someone like Ronaldo, 100% do it. But I think I would be more on the sell side than the keep side. As I said, it just depends on what your move is kind of going to be for. If it's going to be for a -4, then maybe not. Kevin saying risk Trent, get in Jota Ronaldo for a -4. So risk Trent. I don't know what you're saying there, Kevin. I don't know if you're saying like taking out Trent and then you want Jota Ronaldo for -4. I don't know about that one. Official Caden saying, is Son injured? So the Son update, as I read it yesterday, Nuno Santos isn't the best manager at giving news. I'm going to tell you guys that straight. He usually doesn't tell us much, but he did tell us that Son didn't look too good. So I think that he is going to be out for this week. That's what I would say. And I think a move that I saw that I really liked was if you're going to downgrade Son to upgrade Danny Ings to Ronaldo. Like, I mean, that move just looks so good. And I'm so jealous of you guys that can afford Jota for free. I mean, if you didn't have Tsimikas now, like, you're probably laughing. RSD TV saying Ings, Fernandes, Barnes out. Ronaldo, Torres, Traore in for -4. Or Ings and Barnes keeps letting in. So can you afford Ings and Fernandes out for Ronaldo, Jota? I think you can. I think you can afford that. That's what I would do. Yeah, but I understand what you're saying about that -4. Okay, so you can afford that move, but now, yeah, I would rather do Ronaldo, Jota in for Ings, Fernandes, and then I probably would do the -4 as well because Traore has good fixtures in the upcoming game weeks. So I'm fine with that -4 move. I don't really like Torres that much, to be honest. So like as Douglas is asking, Ferran, Torres or Jota, I'm going to go with Jota now. Ahmed saying, morning David, morning to you too Ahmed. Thoughts on one of Traore or Mount or Ferran? So out of those four, my personal favorite under 7, or I don't know, does Jota come in? Jota comes in more expensive. So if you can afford Jota, get him. But then if you can't and you need a sub 6.5, I think if you're on a wild card, go with Rafinha because you can just play him next week. But if you're going to bring in for this game week, I would be between Traore and Sarr. And between those two, that's even a 50-50 for me. So you must know that that's a tough decision. I just think that the next three are good on both sides of things. I just think Traore has that longevity of good fixtures. And that's why I think I might side with Traore over Sarr. And I just think in terms of the stats that Traore has been putting up, I think his stats look better, even though he hasn't scored in like 7 seasons. I think that I would rather go with him. David, why not suck at 6.3? That's also an option you guys can go for. I just think I want to see more out of Arsenal than there currently is. And I always am worried about Arteta. He seems to be like a mini Pep, and he likes to rotate a little bit as well. No worries, Ahmed. Thanks for the question. Whom should I start? Rafinha or Ings? I would start Rafinha, Akshay. 2 reasons. Aston Villa haven't been great. Chelsea is rock solid. Actually, 3 reasons. And Leeds are at home. And Liverpool, they haven't been that great defensively. I think, although their stats have been fine, in terms of the actual games, they have been susceptible to some attacking moves. Even against 10-man Chelsea, they could have conceded. And I know that because I support them. So, is that your team, Max? So Max is my team right now, but we do have 35 more minutes. I will check Twitter soon and just make sure there's been no news. And then I'll probably do the transfers about 10 minutes before. I don't usually like to click bait and hold you guys for as long as possible, but I think you can agree that it's a little bit acceptable now. So Leeds, Rafinha is available because the ban from FIFA got overruled. So any kind of players that you're worried about being banned, you don't have to worry about. Raul Jimenez fine, Rafinha fine, Alisson, Edison, Jesus. Fred is even fine. Maybe Fred will play for United. I know there's a couple of United fans that were saying that he won't, that it's actually a good thing that he was banned because they don't want him to play. Why are you playing Buendia? He can't play. So Alfie, I haven't made any transfers. I'll 100% be taking Buendia out. Rafa and Reza saying, hi Dayvy, have you gone? I've gone with Jota plus Torres plus CR7 -8. Is it worth it? It depends who you're taking out, but from what you're probably telling me, it's probably going to be Ings, it's probably going to be Fernandes, and then there might be Buendia or someone like that. So I think those moves are fine. And that's kind of what I was saying with my moves. Okay, so let's take it from just holistically. Okay, so let's say the 2 moves, if my team was perfect, what I would do, I would take Fernandes out and I would take Danny Ings out. So that's going to be 2 free transfers, and I'll bring Ronaldo and Jota in. So now I have Buendia, who's not going to play. So that hit is technically a -2, which I'm fine with. Probably going to be Traore, if I'm honest with you guys. Great fixtures in the upcoming can make up that -2 quite easily. Then we need Tsimikas out though, because we already have 3 Liverpool options. So then I'll take Tsimikas out. I could have played Ayling, but I don't think Ayling is going to do much against Liverpool. Touch wood there. I think that he might, but maybe not. So if I have Jota, Salah, I'm thinking that they're going to score anyway. So that's Ayling. That's probably going to get 2 points. I'm bringing in a defender like a Semedo that has great fixtures, has the potential to return, and that also gives me bench coverage. So I am taking a -8, -6 in terms of kind of players. But then also I'm getting some great fixtures in the upcoming game week. So I think the -8, although on paper it looks quite bad, I just have to do it with my own team. And if you guys don't have Buendia, if you have someone else, then I probably wouldn't be taking a -8. It's just simply because he can't do anything. Rangding saying, one final question. You can ask as many questions as you want, Rangding, don't worry. Alisson and Reguilon have done so well, but Chilwell looks to be back, and Reggie is Chelsea and Arsenal. Transfer one of them out or roll the transfer. Rangding, keep both of them. 100%. There's no risk in keeping Alonso for another game week. And Reguilon as well. I mean, it's against Crystal Palace. Chilwell will come in the future, so that is a move that I would potentially do in the future, but I would probably just do it until you have no fires to put out, and then just take Alonso out then. Your thoughts on Brandon Williams? So basically, any Norwich defender I'm not too keen on. Contradictory, because I do have Omar Medeli on my bench, but thanks to his price drop last night, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think I'll keep him till probably game week 38. I don't like Norwich defenders or like a Brandon Williams, but if you need a 4.0 defender, 100%. Would probably prefer Livramento or Duffy, but if you want to go for a 4.0, then that's fine. Ronaldo, 99% captaincy. So Cameron, you can actually calculate Ronaldo's captaincy or effective ownership right now, because 100% if people are bringing in Ronaldo, they're going to captain him. I do think there might be some outliers there, but just take whatever ownership he is currently and then just double that, because that's going to be his effective ownership. And I think right now he's about 25% owned, so I think his captaincy will be about 50%. So his effective ownership will be 50%, which in the grand scheme of things isn't actually too high. I mean, that's not really that bad at all. I have 6.5 to spend. Who's the best option in your opinion? If you're on a wild card, I would bring Rafinha in, but if you're not, then I would get Traore or Ismail Assar. Between those two, it's a real 50-50. I think I probably prefer Traore because of his stats. Double up on Salah and Jota or choose one? I double up. I mean, Jota at that price point, a Liverpool attacker at 7.6 is just gold. And that's why I'm not trying to overthink it too much. I could go for someone else, but Jota's on our plate here. He's going to play probably the next 2. Great fixtures, just got to go for him. Nishan saying Pogba or Torres. I think I would go for Torres because the upside's a little bit higher. Semedo versus White versus Tierney. I would probably take White out of there because he's so much cheaper than the other 2, and it's a little bit of a different position. So I think Semedo Traore is a little bit more of a realistic comparison. I had this exact comparison because I was between them 2, and I personally prefer Semedo because the fixtures are slightly better, and I just want to see Arsenal be a bit more defensively assured. I do think they'll bounce back. I do think they'll bounce back after this tough run. So if you are an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't be worried too much, but I just think I would rather bring in Semedo because the stats from Wolves' defensive point of view had tough fixtures in the first place, and they still look quite good. Have 5.8. Any good players to get in the midfield? Or do I get a 4.5 budget? So Dr. Loops, you got to look at your kind of setup. If you already have 1 or 2 bench coverages, I would be fine with going with a 4.5. But if you need that player to potentially play in your starting 11, then I would get the 5.8, and I would probably go with Demarai Gray, who I think is 5.6. Adam saying, I'm not tempted by an Arsenal player like Pepe or Saka with that fixture ahead. So, Adam, to be honest, I was, because one of the transfer plans I was going for was kind of taking a 1-week punt because I wanted Rafinha next week. So I was looking at a Nicolas Pepe, but I just think that I'd rather maybe be a little bit more flexible, and if I want to take out like a Ben Rama next week or take out an Antonio, I can do that. to someone like a Bamford. So I wanted a little bit more flexibility than taking like a 1 week punt at this stage of the season, because I'm already taking a -8 hit. So obviously free transfers are far and few between for me. Denver P saying Ronaldo all day long, so 100%, I would agree with that. Mecca saying, what are your transfers? So currently, I'm thinking about a -8. Ings, Buendia, Fernandez, Tsimikas out, Semedo, Traore, Jota, Ronaldo in. That's what I'm currently thinking, but I'll check Twitter again, sorry, because I said Zaid said he sent me something, but I'll check again a little bit sooner, because I just want to, if Ronaldo starts, then it's like locked in. Saka versus Norwich, are you tempted, Dayvy? Spencer, so Arsenal's fixtures are great, but I think I don't know. I guess it's a weird feeling, but I just don't know about that rotation with an Arsenal. But I think Saka's probably nailed, to be honest, in that side. Rafa and Reza, I did -8. Okay, so you're talking to someone else. Apologies there. No news any on Twitter yet. So let me just go check Twitter and see if there was like anything. Thanks, Optimus Prime, for reminding me. Okay, so Zay just sent me that from the Manchester Evening News, I think it is. They said that Ronaldo is expected to start, but that was published yesterday. To be honest, I think it's about a 90% chance that he does start. I don't really know why they would bench him. Savanthi saying, hey bro, what do you think of Aubameyang? Is he nailed? So Aubameyang will be nailed. If he's fit, he's going to play for Arsenal. It just kind of depends on if you want to go for him. That's like the only thing I would probably say. And in a time where lots of people are going Ronaldo and that sort of thing, Lukaku, I might stick with some of those. Rafa Reza, who's your captain? If I bring Ronaldo in, I would captain him as well. Right now, I think I would still captain Fernandez if I don't bring in Ronaldo. Which do you prefer, Rafinha, Reguilon, or Ben White? This week, not Rafinha for this week. For long-term Rafinha, I would probably lean towards Reguilon because he has more of an attacking threat than Ben White does. I start Ben White or Duffy. I also have Sanchez. Manash, I would probably just go with Duffy and double up. If you want to play safe, just split the odds. Just split the odds there. But like, it depends on what type of manager you are. If you're more of a conservative manager, you split the odds. But I always like to double up because you're putting like all your eggs in one basket. So yeah, apparently there has been kind of sources. So there's a predicted lineup, and then so Zaid says there's a guy that's sometimes reliable that says Ronaldo will start. I just like fear now that people are using it for clout, so they're gonna be like Ronaldo starts, get all the retweets and likes, all the follows, and then it's gonna turn out to be fake or something like that. I start Ben White or Rafinha. I would start Ben White in that case. I do think Arsenal have a great chance of a clean sheet. Kuran saying, how's it, boys? Dayvy, what are your plans for this week? So taking a -8. That's basically it. Joshua is saying, how's it, boy? Is your team had Rafinha instead of Buendia? How would that change your transfer plan? So Joshua, that's a lot better than my team, to be honest. Keep Rafinha just playing this week. And then I would do the -4 with Ings, Fernandez, and Tsimikas. And I just don't know how does that affect your defender? What price can you afford your defender at if you bring in Jota and Ronaldo? If you just tell me what price, Joshua, then I'll reply to that. But if you can afford Semedo, I would just do the -4. And that means your team's looking really good. Manas saying, going to risk it and double up, feeling risky. So exactly, if you want to go risky, I mean, now's the time to do it at this stage of the season. Marcel or Cody, this is a tough one because Marcel, for me, is not 100% nailed, whereas Cody is. So it's like a tough one on that side because Marcel has the attacking threat. I would probably take the punt on Marcel and just hope that he plays over going for like a Cody. But if you want to go safe, Cody's the better option. Jason saying, I don't think Ronaldo will start. He will feature for some point in the game. So I know that he did say that, but it could have also been like Ollie trolling. I don't know why. I don't know why you would troll about that. It's Newcastle at home, but I mean, he sometimes does weird things. Thank you, Ahmed, for the super chat. You didn't put any question, so just put your question in chat and one of the mods will probably boost it up for you. I know sometimes people donate super chats and they forget to put the comment in, so I apologize if that's happened to you. When you confirm your transfers, I probably will do it as soon as the deadline is possible, but I also understand that people have to do the transfers as well if they want to. So I will probably do it about 10 minutes before the deadline. It's 4:05 a.m. in America, and I'm up watching your videos. So Fazlo, thank you very much for watching your videos. Where in America are you based? Because I know America, quite a large country, quite a lot of time zones. So I do appreciate you watching, and hopefully this week's good for you. If you're up at 4:30 on a Friday, I think for you then, hey. Aiden Lewis saying, hey Dave, you only have one free transfer. Would you recommend taking a -12 hit for the same transfers? Or would you pass on one of the transfer options for this week? If so, which one? So Aiden, who's the player that's different? So like what I'm trying to say is, Aiden, what transfer did you do that was different to me? That's what I'm just kind of trying to see the discrepancies between our two teams, and then I can help you a little bit more. Vincent saying, hey Davey, you legend. How's it, Vincent? Thanks for dropping by. 2 questions. Tony to DCL for a hit, Saar or Traore? Who does Tony play? Tony plays Brighton. You probably have Sanchez, which is a bit rough. I would be tempted by that hit. And Saar or Traore, I'm currently on Saar, but I think both are great options. Traore's stats just are slightly better for me. Nemanja Matic told the Serbian press that Ronaldo will start. So, Maximo, are you saying that Matic is a FPL goat here? He's giving us news that we've been waiting for. Karan saying, Dave, have you been watching any of the cricket? So, I've been watching the cricket. I was watching mainly the SA game versus Sri Lanka, but I haven't been the India versus England game were cancelled yesterday. Hey, the FPL Irishman saying, hi lads, how's it going? Brandon saying, Davey, Don, do you think Tuchel will bench Alonso now that Chilwell's back? So Brandon, if you have Alonso, keep him, but I wouldn't be bringing Alonso or Chilwell into my side. I'm just like saying that. With bringing in Ronaldo, Traore, and Semedo, I have 1.5. So Josh, that's perfectly fine to do. 1.5 will give you some flexibility in the upcoming game weeks. Nathan, what do you think of Saar? I do like him. I just think that the stats right now haven't looked that great for his like point of view. So that's when I was comparing Traore and Saar, because those are my 2 options that I'm looking at. I just don't know about that comparison. It's kind of a player that you know will do well, but then also like Saar, maybe not. Like Aleph is saying there, Traore is a trap. Like 100% he could be. It's just like I'm going all in there. I'm going into the trap because of those fixtures. I've actually been baited in with good fixtures. Should I take a hit to bring in Torres instead of Barnes? Should I take a hit to bring instead of Barnes? I don't think I would do Torres. I think I would only do a hit. With a hit, you want to be as certain as possible. So for me, Torres is an uncertain player, and that's why I don't think it warrants kind of a -4 hit. David, check your Twitter. I've tagged you in one account. Okay, let me check Twitter. Okay, but I don't know if that's like a true one, you know. So like, I don't know if that's like a confirmed source, but I mean, the thing is, common sense tells you that Ronaldo will start. So I think if you jump on kind of a fake bandwagon, like it's probably going to be true anyways. So people are saying Ronaldo does start, so that'll probably make our decision a lot easier. So like I can probably just go into the transfer plan now and we can map out some things. Thoughts on DCL? So I do like him. I think he'll play Victor, so I don't think you have to worry about like potentially him being benched or anything like that. Who are you captaining, Archie? If I bring in Ronaldo, I'll captain him. Surely Ollie doesn't start Ronaldo, right? So Zed, I think surely Ollie... So I know what you're saying. So I agree with you. So I think we're on the same kind of page there. So you would rather not. Start Rafinha or Reguilon? I would go Reguilon 100%. Patrick Hall saying, let's go Dayvy, transfer time. So these are the transfers that I was thinking about. So Buendia, 100% out because, I mean, he's not going to play anyway. And I don't have any bench coverage. So I haven't set myself up too well with kind of a cheap bench. Then Danny Ings, then Fernandes, then Tsimikas out. So we're going Man United, Ronaldo. Sorry, I'm doing it the slow way, not searching. Midfielders, it was Jota. Hey, yeah, Jota. And then I'm going to go for Traore right now, but we can always go for like a Ismail Assar if we want to. And then finally, we have 5.6 million. So there are some defenders that I was considering at this like price point. but I just think that it was basically, for me, it was Tierney or Semedo. And I just thought with Tierney, with this like injury scare that he's had, it might not be the best. So that's why I've gone for Semedo. As I think I can afford kind of any Wolves option. And he's my favorite Wolves option to kind of go for. So I'm just going to put it like that so you guys can see like what the points are and everything like that. What about Rudiger? So Rudiger, not this game week. Game week 7 probably. I know that Chelsea's defense can keep a clean sheet against anyone, but I just think right now I would probably go for someone with better fixtures. And we can always just change them in game week 7. If we use the wild card. Why is Kane overlooked? A hat-trick against Palace, surely. So JD, I wish it was as simple as saying like a hat-trick against Palace, surely, but we never know. And with Son out with this potential injury, how is that going to kind of impact Harry Kane? Maybe they won't be as fluid from an attacking point of view. So, I mean, Harry Kane's also had this kind of not match fitness, you know, he's had this transfer news and everything like that. Hasn't looked particularly amazing when he's played. So I think for me, it's a wait and see. So I do agree that he has the potential, but I don't really think he's being super overlooked because we just have so many other premiums. Now, Ahmed, thank you for another super chat. So now you got your question in there. DCL plus Saiss or Pogba plus Shaw? I would go DCL plus Saiss. And I would just be careful about Saiss because if you are thinking that he's nailed 100%, but what I would say is that if Wolves do go to a back 4, they're playing a back 5 currently, but if they do a back 4, people have been mentioning that Saiss might drop out. So that's the only reason why I'm not looking at Saiss, because he has the best stats from a Wolves point of view. And that's why I think Semedo currently edges it for me. If you need a cheap option, also Marcelo or Cody are great. But I just think with Pogba and Shaw, unless you wildcarding in game week 7, you're going to want to take those two guys out anyway. So I would rather do the transfers on players that I want to keep for the foreseeable future. Why not Digne instead of Semedo, Dayvy? Can I actually afford Digne? Yeah, I can. Okay, so the reason why I didn't want to get Digne in is because if you look at my team, I want to bring Rafinha or I want to bring in Bamford next week. So I need money in the bank. And I think DCL would only give me I think Digne would only give me 0.1. So with the money I have right now, I can either upgrade Traore, I can either upgrade Benrahma, or I can upgrade Antonio to Bamford. And that's why I prefer these moves. Rafinha in for Traore for a -4. John, it depends. So are you saying, who are you taking out? Are you keeping Rafinha or are you keeping Traore? Either way, I wouldn't do that anyways. Akil, do you watch Formula 1, Dayvy? So as a mechanical engineer, I probably should watch Formula 1, but I don't, to be honest. I haven't really got into it. I know everything about it. I know who's leading and that sort of things, but I just don't watch it on a Sunday or even qualifying or anything like that. So sorry to disappoint. Addy's saying Jota plus Torres plus Greenwood plus Benrahma and Lukaku plus Ronaldo. Addy, I don't know what you're asking there. Jota. So out of those four, I honestly don't know what you're asking here. Just type in chat what you mean by that, because I don't know if you're talking about which players out of those or which combinations. If you're asking which players, I would say Jota first, Greenwood second, and then I would say Ronaldo over Lukaku. Ron and Jota for Bruno, Ings for a -8 save. So a -8 is fine for me. I think a -8 is probably the most amount of hits you can take before having to wildcard. So I would be fine with that, but I don't know. So you obviously have already used your transfer, which is a bit bleak. If you want to captain Bruno, if you want to captain Ronaldo, it makes it a lot easier, which I think you will. So as long as taking a hit to bring Ronaldo in and captaining him is perfectly fine in my opinion. It makes it so much easier to take a hit if you're going to captain the player you bring in. Trying to make transfers. However, after CR7 and Jota in, I can't afford both Semedo and... So James, I'm trying to think here. So it's fine. You can afford the two most important moves, which is CR7 Jota. I can't afford both Semedo and Traore. Any advice? James, just put your price combination. Like, what's your price left over for two of those players? Because what you can do is you can do like Cody and Traore, or you can do like Damari Gray, Semedo. So it just depends on how much money you have. Jeffrey, thank you for the super chat. I see you didn't put a comment, so just post it in chat and I'll try and read it. Lightre is saying Ronaldo over 2 million transfers in. That must be a record. 100%. Like, I think the hype on Ronaldo is so insane. And I think it's come at the perfect time because usually over an international break, people get bored of FPL. But now we have this Ronaldo hype. So it's kept people kind of consistent. Alpha saying Traore is a historical trap. Don't fall for it. You have Saar right there playing at home and on pens. So Alpha, that is true. I just think Traore has better fixtures over the long term. So I understand that he is a trap, but I think he might be playing in a different position under this new manager than before. So I understand that he could be a trap, and I'm probably falling for it completely, but it's just one of those things, I guess. And that's what I'm saying. Like, now comes the time where you guys can disagree with me. You guys can go with Saar. You can come in the team selection next week and rinse me if Saar gets a Hattie and Traore doesn't do anything. Sakat saying, what country are you from? I'm from South Africa. Hopefully you, like, I guess it's a good thing and a bad thing if you can hear from my accent, but hopefully my accent is not too kind of thick. You know, like how they portray South Africans in like Black Panther, how they portrayed the accent. Because I don't think I have that sort of accent. Is Islam saying, hi Dayvy, have you considered Torres? I did consider Torres at the start of the game week, but I've just been sort of off him since like a week ago. Is it too late to get rid of Traore? It's not too late to get rid of Traore, Alex. If you're on a wild card, 100%, but if you already brought him in, there's nothing wrong. A lot of people are saying, what about Ferran Torres? So Ferran Torres is fine for me, but I just think if I'm making hits, I want to be certain about players. And after playing every single game in the international break with Kevin De Bruyne, also full Foden back in training, I just don't know about the minutes. Gary's saying -8, too much risk in it. So for me, it's not that bad because I would have done Ronaldo. I would have done Ings and Fernandes out, and then Buendia wasn't playing, so that's a -2 hit because he's not playing. And then also I wanted Jota in, and I think Jota over the next 2 is going to do well. So I think that's worth taking the -4. And then also gives me bench coverage for the future. Jimenez or Jota to bring in? Jason, I'd go with Jota. Hey mate, what should I do with Son? So Daniel, I would take Son out because the Spurs' upcoming fixtures aren't great anyways. So you're getting a little bit of a kind of buffer there in case he does come back today and bang. So I would take Son out, and I think the best scenario would be downgrade Son and upgrade Ings to Ronaldo. Confirmed transfers, not yet. I probably would wait like 5 more minutes just in case we do get any more news. But apparently Ronaldo is going to start as expected. So that's probably the news that we were hoping for anyways. Why not Gray or Rafinha instead of Traore, says John. I just think Traore has the potential for me to be a long-term hold if he picks up his returns. And that's why I wanted to bring him in rather than bringing Rafinha in straight, because I think next game week I might take Benrahma out as well. So I wanted some flexibility there in case I want to take Benrahma out or if I want to do Antonio to Bamford. So this week against Liverpool, I'm going to kind of check and see if I would rather get Bamford or Rafinha, to be honest. Tony to Lukaku for a -4. What an upgrade. If you're going to captain Lukaku, I might do that. Matt saying, thanks for the quality FPL content as always. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Looks like I'm the only one going without Ronaldo. A captain Salah or Antonio. So I don't think you're the only one going without Ronaldo because if you look at his ownership, it's about 25%. So actually, majority of managers are going without Ronaldo. And between Salah and Antonio, I would go with Salah. Because I think Antonio is more differential, but you don't have to go differential because Salah will be differential anyways. Jota or Torres? Jota or Torres? Jota 100%. For me, that's not even like a big debate. Like Jota for me is far above going for someone like a Torres. I've got 10.3 left after CR7 Jota. So as far as I know, let's just think here. So 4.5 leaves you with 5 and then 3. So you can have a 4.5 and you can have a 5.8. So I would do Marcel and I would do Damari Gray. I think you can. How much money do you have after that? Sorry, it's a Saturday. My mind's is completely gone. Can't even do simple math. Alpha, I'll be rubbing in here when SARS scores next week. Don't worry. So Alpha, 100%. I always say I'm very chilled. So if you as long as you guys are doing well in FPL, I don't really care. So that's all that I worry about. Why not die in place of Semedo? I don't really like Spurs' fixtures. That's kind of the only reason. No worries, Matt. Thanks. Enjoy your weekend, buddy. How to replace Ings? Already have Antonio. So if you want to replace Ings, DCL first choice. And then I would probably consider Raul Jimenez or Bamford. I think DCL 100%. I feel a bit strange not making a transfer this week, says Jack. So, I mean, it's a strange feeling, but it can also be a good feeling because you're just confident in your side. Hamid with the donations, appreciate the super chat. You also didn't put a comment, and I don't know what you said, but how come you're not wildcarding, says Sam. So for me, Sam, the players I wanted, I could reach in a -8, and I was relatively happy with my selection. And I think a -8 is probably the maximum until you need to use the wildcard. Oldapo is saying Saw or Gray for Fernandez. I prefer Saw if you can afford him. 10 minutes to go, confirm transfers. Let me go check Twitter for you guys quickly. So I don't think there's going to be much, to be honest, that we can get you. In terms of transfers, I don't think there's much news, to be honest. Yeah, it doesn't seem like much. So I think that then we will be kind of locking in these transfers. So -8 hit, not optimal, but I think that I am fine with doing it, considering what we're kind of gaining, if you know what I'm saying. I think that to me is probably worth it in the end. Tyron saying, I think you should rather bench Buendia this week and then save 4 points. So for me, it's because I'm not trying to look at it just this specific game week. Like this specific game week, 100%, I don't think it's going to pay off. I think we probably will get a red arrow, but I think for the long term, it's going to be worth it in the long run. And that's why I'm saying what I'm doing. So I think let's lock these transfers in. Traore, we're going for him over Saar just because I don't really know why. I think it's just kind of a good maybe transfer to do. Probably not the best of the world, but I mean he is a beast going forward. So let's hope that he can actually finish his dinner this time. So minus was Timicus, Buendia, Fernandez, Ings out, Semedo, Jota, Traore, Ronaldo in. Confirmed for a -8, and this is going to be the selection. Then we're going to captain Ronaldo, make the captain. Where's Salah? Vice captain Salah, Ailing first on the bench, and then save the team. The team looks good. It did cost the -8, so let's not be around the bush about that one. With no news about CR7, so John, I'm pretty sure that CR7 is going to start, to be honest. Thoughts on Trincao? So for me, Pedro, it was between... So between Trincao and Traore, I selected Traore because I think he has more chance of 90 minutes. It seems like Trincao has been subbed quite a bit. And that's my only concern about him potentially. Sorry, I did think I missed a super chat there. So let me just go back to that. So Saint says, Sanchez, so that's your team, cheapest playing bench. Would you change anything? So as long as you have some players on your bench, like a Livramento or Brandon Williams that feature, that team looks good. I'm personally not a fan of the no Trent. I think I would rather drop Lukaku to someone else and then upgrade to Trent. But if that's what you want to go for, Saint, that's perfectly fine to do. Nothing kind of wrong with that one. Suraj saying, please rate my wild card. Okay, Guaita, that's fine. Rudiger, Christensen, White. I don't know about Vardy. I probably wouldn't have Vardy. I would downgrade Vardy and upgrade to Trent. I would upgrade one of your Chelsea defenders to Trent. In terms of the rest of the team, it looks fine, to be honest. I don't think there's much there that you have to worry about. You've gone for Lukaku over Ronaldo, which I don't like. I prefer Ronaldo because over the next 3, I think he's better. But I think that it's fine if you want to go for Lukaku as well. What is the final formation, Dave? I did the 4-3 transfer. Suspense, it's a 3-5-2. 3-5-2, and then the bench pretty much picks itself. Tsimikas starter, I don't think so. I think Tsimikas will be benched today or tomorrow. Liverpool only play tomorrow. Toric, no worries. Thanks for joining by. 5 minutes to the deadline is Optimus Prime. So yes, please get those transfers done. Liam Taylor, this confirmed 100%, buddy. I will even refresh it for you to make sure that it is confirmed. So yeah, you can see that it is confirmed. Who to take out? Gundogan or Barnes for Jota? Take out Barnes. I have both Lukaku and CR7, and my gut says Lukaku, but I don't need to be differential. So I think both of those two will be differential, to be honest. I have both. Okay, so are you saying your gut for Kamsi, Hamad? Because both those will be differential, so don't worry. Calvin saying, great channel. Why Ronaldo captain over Salah? What's your opinion? I think the fixture of Newcastle at home far outweighs Leeds away. And that's just what I think, to be honest. Will DCL start? Abdullah, I think he will. I think that he will play. Bruno Buendia, Ings, Saka, Torres, CR7. Sounds good. Those look fine to me. I would try and fit Jota in, but if you can't, then Torres is also perfectly fine. Tyler Scott saying, good luck. Hope for good Green Arrow, hopefully as well. Hopefully you too, Tyler. Thanks for the kind words. Rafinha or Torres, and is Rafinha eligible? Dave, Rafinha is eligible, and I would probably lean towards him if you are, especially if you're on a wild card. The best scenario is to bench Rafinha this week and play him next week. Is Fred a starter? So he wasn't included in the squad, but he was potentially going to meet them afterwards because he became eligible only after they travelled. Jeffrey saying, Ailing to Semedo -8 or Livramento to Cody. I wouldn't do either of those, to be honest. Jeffrey, I would just keep it because Ailing still has good fixtures. I wouldn't take him out for Semedo. Vincent saying, by the way, any electricity outages? So luckily not just last week. So last Monday we had electricity outages, but nothing from then. I went against Ronaldo, hope he blanks, as is FPL. Any player that you don't own, you hope blanks, but so don't worry too much about that one. Is Jota a must this game week? For me, if you're going to make a midfielder transfer, I would have Jota as my top priority. Let's just put it that way. I don't think he's essential, but I think he is the best midfielder to get. Thanks a lot for the kind words. Jace the Ace, I think I'm hopefully pronouncing that right there. Rafinha or Tony? This week, Tony, but in the long term, Rafinha far outweighs him. Is Marcel nailed? I don't think he is nailed, but I think he's still a great option to go for if you're willing to take a punt. Just make sure that you have some bench coverage in case he doesn't. I have Ben White. He's on the bench against Norwich. Lol. Okay, so you're saying, Spencer, you're saying he's on your bench, or you're saying he is on the bench? Because that'll be quite bad. But if he's on your bench, that's perfectly fine to do. The thing about centre backs is that their upside isn't that high. They usually just get a clean sheet and maybe a couple bonus. So it's not like a fullback that could get an assist or a goal. Tsimikas or Saar to bench. 100% Tsimikas. Play Saar, Sonny. 3 minutes more, says Victor. 100%. Jansen or Soufal. So as far as I know, Soufal's fixtures, like West Ham's fixtures, get a little bit tougher in the future. Actually, they're not that bad. I probably would still go with Soufal, to be honest. I think he's a fine option to go for. I'm always wary about kind of promoted defenders. Thoughts on selling Greenwood to keep Bruno in the team with Ronaldo? I wouldn't do that. You can even argue that Greenwood is a better option than Bruno. So I would keep Greenwood, and I think go for Ronaldo. I think it messes up your formation a little bit too much if you keep both of them. Because I assume that you have Salah as well. Can I do Rafinha against Traore? 100%. So the options that I'm fine with instead of Traore are Damari Gray, Rafinha, Ismaila Sarr. There's a whole bunch of players instead of Traore. For me, I just wanted to take a punt, and the fixtures are good, so might as well. I said it in the team selection that if you're going to take a punt, you might as well go for Wolves because their fixtures are so good. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it, buddy. -12 for Ronaldo, just at a -4 for DCL and Gray. If you're going to captain him, it's fine, but a -12 is kind of approaching that wildcard temporary. Morris, keep or sell for a -4. It depends for who. That's such a tough one. Morris, like any City player, is a hard one to go for because they could start and they could bang. But I think if you're going to bring in an option for the long term, I think it's worth the -4. Oladapo is saying White/Soufal to bench, or start both and bench Tony. If you have Sanchez, bench Tony, but if you don't have Sanchez, I always favor an attacker. And out of White and Soufal, I would play Soufal. Should I start Rafinha or Tsimikas? That is a hard one because I almost think if Tsimikas doesn't start, he's going to come on. So I would probably just start Rafinha because I don't think Tsimikas will play in the starting 11. I can't get Jota. Which Chelsea defender to get for 3 weeks? I wouldn't get a Chelsea defender for 3 weeks. I would get them for like long term. But out of the defenders, I think Rudiger might be fine and Christensen also. Last minute, check your teams. 100%. This is the last minute. Just confirming here that I have done everything right. So Salah, vice captain, Ronaldo captain, all the transfers look good, Ailing on the bench. So I'm all Gucci. Hopefully you guys are good as well. My friend says they won't give him, that they would give him 20 if I put... Shall I go for Dele Alli or Ben Rama? I mean, if you only get £20, Leah, just go for Dele Alli. I mean, would you rather have a good game week where you're not going to get any money, or would you rather get money? I think go get money. Go get paid. Go get that bread. Tierney Shaw, TAA in a 3-for-3. 100% that looks fine. The deadline has officially struck, guys, so I do apologize if you didn't get questions answered or if you didn't get your teams finalized. I hope that you did. As Saint is saying, best of luck to all these FPL kings and queens. Exactly. All you kings and queens there. Hopefully it's a good game week for you guys. And hopefully come game week 5's kind of team selection, we're looking at a nice green arrow. Unfortunately, we have to wait till Monday because I think Burnley Everton is on Monday night. But we also have some Champions League to keep us interested. So please, my advice for you guys, I probably will have a video out Tuesday anyway, but please pay attention to the Champions League news. Hopefully Ronaldo bangs. I'm looking for an Hattie here from CR7. I mean, I think we'll all be kind of thankful for that. But in terms of all the other stuff, stay safe. Enjoy your guys' weekend. And I'm signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.